Hello friends, today we will talk to you about the cars that posed a threat to human life in the 1950s. Before the video starts, I wanted to talk to you. If you know information about these cars, please leave your opinion in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Rate my work. I've started.
In 1955, Plymouth introduced the Plaza, a budget-level full-size car aimed at frugal buyers. While it shared styling cues with the upscale Belvedere, under the surface, the Plaza was stripped down and problematic. It came standard with a flathead six-cylinder engine, outdated even in 1955, producing just 117 horsepower. Acceleration was sluggish, and optional V8s were hard to justify for an economy car. Build quality was a major issue. Thin sheet metal, minimal sound insulation, and cheap interior materials made the Plaza feel bare bones. Early models suffered from poor rust protection, especially in northern climates, with fender rot appearing after only a few winters. Braking was another weak point. The Plaza used drum brakes all around, and fade was common under stress. Steering was heavy, especially without power assist, making city driving a chore. While it was cheap transportation, the 1955 Plymouth Plaza is remembered more for its cost-cutting compromises than for lasting reliability.
The 1958 Packard Hawk was supposed to be a high-performance halo car, but instead, it marked the beginning of the end for the Packard brand. Built on a Studebaker Golden Hawk platform, the Hawk featured a supercharged 289 cubic inch V8 making 275 horsepower. On paper, impressive, but the execution was flawed. The styling was polarizing. A fiberglass nose, exaggerated bulging hood, and a wide, fake Mercedes-style grille turned off traditional Packard buyers. One critic called it a Studebaker in drag. Fit and finish suffered badly. Panel gaps were uneven, interior trim was low quality, and the vinyl-covered dash was prone to warping. It was also expensive, around $4,000, nearly Cadillac money, but without Cadillac prestige or build quality. Only 588 units were sold. Reliability concerns, poor dealer support, and a confused identity sealed its fate. By 1959, the Packard name was gone. And the Hawk? It remains a symbol of desperation, not innovation. The 1954 Dodge Royal was Dodge's top-of-the-line model that year, but under the chrome and flare, it struggled to compete. It featured Dodge's new 241 cubic inch Red Ram Hemi V8, a technological leap, yes, but output was only 140 horsepower. It was underpowered compared to Ford's Y-Block or even Chevy's Inline-6 with Powerglide. Acceleration was sluggish, especially with Dodge's outdated two-speed Powerflight automatic. Handling was another letdown. The Royal was nose-heavy, with excessive body roll and vague steering, not ideal for highway driving. Brakes were drum-only and prone to fade under stress. Inside, it looked upscale, but quality control was spotty. Reports from Mechanics Illustrated in 1954 noted loose trim and squeaks within a few thousand miles. And despite the new V8, sales lagged behind competitors. The styling was considered too conservative, especially in a year when GM and Ford were turning heads. For Dodge, the Royal marked a transition, but not yet a triumph. The 1950 Dotto Custom was Chrysler's attempt to offer mid-range luxury, but it fell short in several key areas. Under the hood was an aging 236.6 cubic inch inline-6, making just 112 horsepower. In a car weighing over 3,600 pounds, that meant sluggish performance, 0 to 60 in over 20 seconds. By 1950 standards, it was already behind the curve. The car used a fluid drive transmission, a semi-automatic setup that combined a fluid coupling with a manual gearbox. It was marketed as advanced, but drivers found it awkward and slow, with laggy shifts and poor hill performance. Handling was clumsy. With soft suspension and vague steering, the Custom wallowed in corners and felt disconnected from the road. And while build quality was solid, the styling was dated even in 1950. Heavy, bulbous lines that looked more like 1946 than post-war modernity. Though roomy and smooth, the Dotto Custom struggled to excite buyers and hinted at the brand's slow decline. The 1952 Willys Aero Lark was Willys Overland's bold attempt to break into the compact car market, but despite its ambition, it faced serious drawbacks. Powered by a 134 cubic inch inline-4 engine, making just 75 horsepower, the Lark was woefully underpowered. Even with its lightweight body, acceleration was poor.
0 to 60 in over 25 seconds, making highway merging dangerous. The base model lacked many features. No radio, no clock, and even turn signals were optional. Interior materials were sparse and utilitarian, giving it a budget feel that turned off more refined buyers. Ride comfort was another issue. With a short wheelbase and stiff suspension, the Lark delivered a choppy, unsettled ride on rough roads. Wind noise was excessive at speed due to minimal insulation. Though marketed as aerodynamic, its styling was plain and outdated by mid-50s standards. Worse, Willys lacked a strong dealer network, limiting parts and service. Despite its good intentions, the Aero Lark just couldn't keep pace and faded quickly from the market.
The 1956 Lincoln Premier was Ford's attempt to compete with Cadillac in the luxury market. But behind the glamorous styling, trouble was brewing. Its massive 368 cubic inch V8 made 285 horsepower, yet the car weighed over 4,500 pounds. Fuel economy was abysmal, around 9 to 10 miles per gallon, a serious drawback during the early days of suburban commuting. The Premier was built on a new body-on-frame platform, but handling was poor. Reviewers at the time noted excessive body roll, floaty suspension, and unresponsive steering, making the big Lincoln feel more like a barge than a precision machine. Quality control was inconsistent. Electrical systems, including the power windows and four-way power seat, were prone to early failure. Interior trim often rattled, and the flashy chrome was notorious for pitting after just a few seasons. Despite bold looks and innovation, the 1956 Premier couldn't match Cadillac's refinement, and sales lagged. For Lincoln, it was a flashy miss, not a flagship success.
The 1957 Ramler Rebel was a surprise performance car from AMC, but behind its hot rod reputation were serious limitations. It featured a 327 cubic inch V8 producing 255 horsepower, strong numbers for a midsize car. But the Rebel was only available with a 3-speed automatic. A planned Bendix electronic fuel injection system was advertised, but never made it into production cars due to reliability issues, making the Rebel the first promised EFI car that failed to deliver. Despite its speed, the Rebel had handling problems. The suspension was soft, and braking power was barely adequate for the car's performance. No power disc brakes were offered, just drums all around, which faded under hard use. Interior styling was plain, and materials were budget grade. Road testers complained about excessive wind noise and minimal insulation. And while it could outrun some Chevys, AMC's limited dealer network and conservative brand image kept buyers away.